Oh God, I'm nervous already. Okay, I am Sam. I help with a lot of the background admin-y type stuff behind the scenes, and on the event days do check-ins and help things to run smoothly. Yeah.
So before you came along and joined us at Evolve Driving, what have you been doing professionally?
I was going to say having babies, but that's not professional, is it? I have done lots of things. I was a primary school teacher. I guess I still am. I teach 1 day a week. And I also did conferences and events for corporate sort of setups. And yeah, I love sort of all that event work, but this is a much more fun environment than what corporate conferences are.
Glad that we can get your experience onto our events. Now, the other thing you mentioned at the moment, you're only working 1 day as a teacher. So what else takes up your time during the week? You've got all that other time to just devote to
So
Evolve.
much free time. Yes, no, definitely not free time heavy. I have the 2 little kids. I have Ari, who's 1, and Logan is 3, and they pretty much take every spare minute, and even the not spare minutes.
And have we got any petrol heads out of the kids?
Not yet. Well, actually, to be fair, Logan jumps on Adam's little PlayStation racing wheel, and he can do an entire lap of a track at 3 years old. So I am pretty impressed with that. So we will make a motorhead out of him yet.
He's actually better than I can do on a sim. So well done to you. How did you find out about Evolve Driving, and what attracted you to want to be a part of the team with Evolve Driving?
Cool. So, well, I am actually Anthony Cook, who is an instructor. I am his goddaughter, and it was a Christmas party last year. He was saying to me about this amazing company that he was working for, and he was just raving about Evolve and saying how great it was and how much he loved working with you guys. And and how much you were expanding as well. And I just off the cuff said, oh, sounds like they need an event coordinator, because I was just, thinking, wow, that sounds amazing. I would love to work at a place like that, not realizing that I would turn up here a few months later working with you. So yeah, I am just so lucky it worked out so easily. But I've worked in quite a few different roles in different places, and there's always been some sort of downside to them, like, whether it's the people that you work with or the hours or the location or whatever, but there is absolutely no downside. I just love coming every event and chatting, online or meeting, at coffee places for our meetings. It's all perfect.
I do remember our first meeting, and it was Code Black.
Yeah.
And I think you actually handed me like a CV, and I put it into a folder, and then you were like, oh, you want me to talk to you about that? And I said, nah, we've had a chat for an hour, and I can tell that your skills and your enthusiasm matches where we're at with what we are doing. The paperwork didn't even matter.
Nah, it was great. Then we went on with a merchandise meeting.
Yeah, just carried straight into you just working for us straight away. So obviously, unlike the instructors, you don't have that driving experience behind you, that racing experience and things like that. But obviously, having Cookie somewhere in your life there as a godfather, was there ever any sort of interest in racing and cars, or has that sort of developed more as you've got into where we are?
Well, so I have 2 adult sort of persuaders in my life, and it's my mum and Cookie, and they're very opposite. So I remember when I first was on my Owls, Cookie took me out in his little hotted up Honda S2000, and he told me, don't worry about the speed limits, and my Owls, they were magnetic, and they flew off, and so I ended up with no L's on. And when we got back, he was like, all right, let's jump into car sales and see what car you're going to get. Are you going to get an S2000? Are you going to get a Boxster? Are you going to get like one of these like convertible cars? And then I got home and Mum was like, yeah, they look great. Like, you know, how about something you can have more than one friend in, or, you know, that has a boot space? And so then I ended up with my Mitsubishi Lancer, which I don't regret. I love that car. But there was certainly the opportunity, if I wanted it, to go down that road with Cookie.
So you didn't used to watch supercars out on a race weekend and watch everyone driving around Bathurst and all that sort of stuff?
No, never. I remember there was, I went and saw Cookie at Sandown one time in his S2000, and I thought, oh, this is pretty cool. But other than that, not really. I remember a race being on in the background one day, and the only thought that crossed my mind was, oh my gosh, these go forever. But to be fair, now Adam watches all of the F1 races, and it's the first thing he does when he gets up in the morning and the F1 races are on, you know, for practice and for qualifying, and then the actual race. So it's 3 days in a row, almost every weekend, that we have the F1 on in the background. And now that I'm learning a lot more about it, and he's, you know, telling me about the rules and the little moves that they do and the things that they do to get extra time, and, you know, this person's moving to this team and all that sort of stuff. I mean, Logan knows more about it than I do, but I'm definitely becoming more intrigued now that I realize how much there is involved.
Have you been critiquing some of the driving that you watch now that you've been in our environment?
No, definitely not at that level.
You mentioned earlier on that Cookie did take you around in the S2000 when you were learning. Did he actually do much of the learner driver training for you, or did you do most of that with someone else?
No, so Mum was my main learner driver trainer. She was amazing. Like, she was, yeah, very relaxed, I would say, most of the time. But she was really good at like making sure that I was exposed to all different things. I did well over the 120 hours that were needed. And, you know, it was country driving, it was city driving, it was nighttime, daytime, rain, snow, whatever. And yeah, she never shied away from a chance for me to drive. I remember the day I got my L, she was like, well, that's it. You're in every time we go anywhere. It's you that's driving. And I think that was really, really beneficial. Cookie, the one time he took me out in the S2000, he was trying to, we also went out the first day that I got my new car. He wanted me to take me out in my car, which I was still on my L's when I got the car, in the Lancer. And he was trying to tell me about, this is 10 years ago now, so I don't really remember it that well, but it was something about heel toeing in between the clutch changes. And I was so confused. I had no idea what was going on.
He was trying to teach you heel and towing. Oh my God.
I don't know.
It's an advanced technique. It's one that we hardly get to teach people on the racetrack, even they're so far behind the eight ball. And he was already teaching you that when you were learning on the road. That's amazing.
Well, I'll take that as a compliment, but yeah, I definitely had no idea what was going on.
You do love your Mitsubishi Lancer, obviously. You've mentioned that a few times, and including in the virtual cars and coffee video that you've done for us as well. But what would be your dream car?
Ooh, that's a hard question. I like that. That's a really hard question. I think I've been tainted by Adam, and he is absolutely obsessed with Porsches. So I feel like any Porsche would, I would be certainly happy with. I guess if I'm going like supercar, dream car, I can't go past McLarens. I absolutely love them. I think, yeah, I saw them on Top Gear one time and I was like, why have I never heard about these before? These are amazing.
Have you seen some McLarens on our courses?
Yes. They're pretty.
Now, that sounded like a hard question, asking you what your dream car is, but one question that's probably going to be even a little more difficult than that is, who is your favourite instructor?
Oh, I would say I love them all. I just love them all. I feel like I've got an easy out on this one though, considering that Cookie is my godfather and I've known him my entire life. So, you know, just saying.
Okay. Who is the instructor that asks the most questions of you?
Oh, I don't know. That's funny. Oh, I don't know. I feel like Gav and Dave asked me lots about Pitbox.
Yeah.
Ricky, I swear, asks me like 10 times a day, have you seen this person? Have you seen this person?
I think he might be trying to act like he's doing work.
And Cookie asks me, do you want a hot chocolate? Can you get me a hot chocolate? And do Chelsea's eyelashes look good, or does she look better without them?
In terms of evolved driving and what we've got planned going forward, I mean, COVID has certainly put a bit of a hit in terms of our momentum with some of that, but it's not dampened our spirits and our excitement about making it all happen. But what are some of the things that are exciting you about what we've got coming up?
Oh, I'm excited about all of it. I just can't wait for the next day that we can get out there. Every single day, I remember I used to wake up before the conference events that I did, that I coordinated for, and I was always stressed. I would not sleep the night before because I was worried about things not coming off right or being issues and things like that. But every day before an Evolve event, I just am so excited. I can't wait to go to sleep just so I can wake up the next day and get to the event. And yeah, Adam thinks I'm crazy because I'm just like, I want to go, I want more, when's the next one? So yeah, any track event, but I, like, in the longer term, I am really excited to see how, you know, Bathurst and South Australia and Tassie sort of work, because they sound like super, you know, exciting trips and events. And I haven't been to Winton yet, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what Winton's like.
Well, Sam, that's been a good little chat. It's been fun.
I like it. Thank you.
And as, I really do, I'm excited about having you on board as part of the team. It's been really positive to have your support behind the scenes doing the work you do. And I'm sure that's going to, hopefully when things pan out after all this COVID stuff, we'll be able to get a lot better rhythm and momentum going with everything, and have you cranking on with all of the things that we do, which people often don't see. And it's kind of good that they don't have to see the work we put in. It's just a matter of enjoying the efforts of our work.
I feel like we were just sort of starting to find a good groove in these last two events, and then they went and COVIDed us again.
So the things that we're going to be able to do off track as well to continue to build evolved driving as a provider of driver coaching at the highest level, and the community that we're trying to develop, the driving community that will come from it. So some exciting times ahead when we get back to that. Samantha, tell me, have you got a driving fail story that you would like to share with us?
I sure do. It is very embarrassing, but it is quite funny now looking back. So I went camping with some friends, and most of them are, you know, they're not car nuts, but they are very good at, most of them have very broken down cars and they can fix it with a screwdriver. That's like, they just know what's going on. And we went camping, pulled up, emptied the car, all good, stayed away for, I don't know, 3 or 4 days or something like that, complete bush, middle of nowhere. It was pretty much 4-wheel drive tracks to get in there, and I was so surprised I didn't doing my car going in, because it's only got a very low clearance at the front. And yeah, made it in all good, had the whole weekend there, had a really good time, was about to leave, had the car all packed, and it wouldn't turn on, realized I'd left the auxiliary on and the battery gone flat in the middle of nowhere. So we decided to try to roll start it. So I had all these, like, there were 4 or 5 of the guys trying to push the car backwards. So they were all at the bonnet and I'm sitting in the driver's seat, and they, you know, let me know what I needed to do, got sorted. And then they go, all right, 1, 2, 3. And they all pushed and the car just did not move. And they were like, what is going on? And then they tried again and car didn't move, and they're all like decently strong guys. It's not like they didn't have enough strength. And then one of them was like, is your handbrake off? Have you left your handbrake on? And I was like, no, it's definitely off. Checked the handbrake. And they tried again. Nope, still wouldn't move. Somebody was like, have you got it in gear? You got to put it in neutral, you idiot. Like, come on. And I was like, no, it is in neutral. And they tried again. And then somebody goes, did you take your foot off the brake? And I was like, whoop, foot off the brake, and then rolled really easily. So it was so embarrassing, but it feels so unnatural to take your foot off the brake and just let your car roll. So it was very embarrassing, and everybody laughed at me. And then they told me that I couldn't let the car turn off again, like I couldn't stall it or anything on the way out. And I was so nervous because there was no one around and it was really bad tracks and everything. And I was like, I'm definitely going to stall it. But
it's funny, isn't it?
That's my fail.
Be when you've got your foot on the brake, but you're so focused on everything else, handbrakes and neutrals and all the rest of it, that you didn't even realise that your foot was on the brake. And that was at stationary speed. Imagine us sitting next to drivers at 200 k's an hour, and they could have the same brain fade at that sort of speed. This is one of the difficulties that we have in our job.
Yeah, you guys are amazing. Can you hear the kids in the background?
Yeah, that's all good though. Part of the character.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you hear Adam singing?
Yeah. What's he doing?
Hey, Adam, we're recording an interview and you're singing in the background. I mean, I really appreciate it, but if you don't want to be recorded.
Some driver training fails where, some people are just, you haven't even got to turn one and you already know that this is not going to be good. And you're like, let's go back to the pits. So there's some stories like that we can share as well.